All right, welcome to the Life, Legacy, and Leadership Podcast. Today, our guest is the Aidan Ross.
Howdy, howdy.
He is the best of all the Rosses right
all
here.
Of them.
The number one Ross.
Factual.
Yes, I think Jason is number 5 out of 3 Rosses. So
Yeah, I think that's about right.
that's about right. So welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you here today.
All right.
So what we're going to do is, and we'll talk, just to let our audience know, we have a nationwide audience of 5, right? Mm-hmm. And so just to let everybody know, you are a current counselor here at Brook Hill of the Pacers.
That's right. 3 years.
3-year
3
Pacer.
years. Pacer legacy.
Are you the first Pacer?
I'm the first Pacer, so it's all mine.
So, that's incredible.
Because there was Dane and kind of... there's a few people before me, but nobody's had it for more than 2 weeks other than me.
Okay.
I think the most weeks anybody's had behind me is Dane Stedman with 2 or 3, I think.
Okay.
But I've had it this is my 3rd year, so it's all mine.
Let's go. I love that. So I want to get into how you got to Brook Hill and what Brook Hill means to you and just your life and what got you to this point, the ripe old age of 20. So there's a lot of things, to unpack there. We'll get into there. And then our co-host today, without a mic, is Mr. Pirtle. And just wanted to point that out, shout him out because his dad was my counselor. So a little shout out to Pirtle over there. So all right, let's jump into this. First, we're going to start with a game.
Okay.
Aidan's a gamer.
I am.
All right. Now here's the game. The game is you're going to have 30 seconds to name Brook Hill stuff.
Okay, I got it.
And you got 3 categories, and you can jump in and out of all 3.
Okay.
So you're not limited to a category, okay?
Let's see. Okay.
Brook Hill songs. And I mean any song.
Any song.
It can be any Brook Hill song that we do at Brook Hill.
Gotcha.
Cabins.
Okay.
And activities.
Easy.
I mean, it's super easy. Let's show the leaderboard to show Aidan where he is at. So Anna Hampson Waller, who is here this week, is the GOAT. She is at 34. And then we have an alumni, Lindsay Perry, who is at 30. And then Callan at 27. That's the top 3.
Okay.
The rest of them are pretty, mid to say.
Okay. So I bet I can get up there.
Those 3 have slayed.
I've got 63 coming for you right here.
Okay. All right. Are you ready? As soon as you see, so just remind you, camp songs, activities, and cabins. All right.
Okay.
Ready with the timer over there, Pirtle? Go ahead and fire it away. Go.
Set a Fire, Father, I Adore You, This Little Light of Mine, Walkers, Hackneys, Mustangs, Pacers, Mavericks, Broncos, Appaloosas, Clydesdales, Buckskins, Big Lake, Small Lake, wakeboarding, water rides, go-karts, archery, riflery, hodgepodge sport, boy sports and girl sports. That's a throwback. Oh, was that 30 seconds?
What? That was 30 seconds.
No.
Yes. What was
that was bad.
Unofficially? I think 23? Yeah, I think 22, 23. We will officially go back. Wait, go back to that leaderboard. Throw that leaderboard back up here. Let's see where that was at.
Oh.
Okay. So I mean you're in this right here. So I think unofficially he was at 23. So that's enough to get your name on the board. We're going to be dropping this bottom line here very soon. So okay.
I thought I was going to get the all the counseling things, Keytar,
You could.
I thought I was going to get them, and then they.
It's the timer. It's the timer that gets you. It's the timer that gets you. All right, so let's talk here. You're on all summer staffs.
Yeah.
You were a JC for a couple of summers.
2 summers,
and then so you've been on staff 5 years. When did you get to Brook Hill? How did you get here?
So the first year I came, I think it was me coming out of 6th grade, right?
Okay.
I really have no clue how my parents heard about it. I'm sure it was probably some friends in Texarkana because that's where we lived. Because I was born in Little Rock, right? Arkansas, let's go. But
there we go.
Woo pig, baby, woo pig, But when I started coming to Brook Hill, I lived in Texarkana, Texas, right?
Okay.
Going to Texas middle school, Texas everything, It's everywhere. And I came here for the first time, and I've got to admit, I don't remember if I liked it that much when I first came. I remember I was a nerd. I was a big nerd. And I kid you not, one of my first memories of Brook Hill is I remember hearing counseling and going, oh, if I could, because I used to run the sound at my church, and I remember thinking, I could make it sound better. I could make it sound better. But
as a sixth grader, you were. I love it.
Yeah, I remember watching Connor Odom walk around as the sound AC, I think it was, and I remember talking to him a little bit. I don't remember what he said, but I remember thinking about it, and now I know that it's not supposed to sound good. It's just supposed to be fun, you know. But that's what I remember as a camper.
If it was Connor Odom, you probably could have outdone him on the sound, right?
oh, absolutely.
Little Connor Odom shout out. We'll put that Easter egg in there for him.
And I was my first year. I was in Appaloosa with Gabe Metz.
Oh,
so Gabe Metz and Gabe Metz and Ever Manser have always been guys that I've just always really looked up to. Always strive to be like them, like in the way that campers view me, you know. Because I remember as a camper, they were my world, right? Like,
what'd you like about him? What stood out to you?
I mean, Gabe, obviously, he's hilarious, and then he can just flip that switch like that, you know, and just get right into it, and all of a sudden he just lays something on you that's so amazing. And then Everett was just so goofy, and I loved talking with him. He was the senior counselor in my water rides. I think it was either my JCT or my graduate year. I don't remember exactly, but he was my water rides counselor, and it was just most fun week I've ever had. My other water rides counselor was Sam Sloan too. So two big names right there.
You had all the greats.
I know, right?
Yeah. So, well, you have any stories, any Everett or Gabe stories?
I wish I did.
Fun or impactful. We can go either direction on that one.
See, I've got a pretty horrible memory, but cabin cleanup has always been. Unironically, has always been my favorite part of Brook Hill. I miss the old one where it was like an hour and a half long, and everybody would yell, and it was just so much fun. And then you would shout out like "filthies" instead of Phillies or something for the sisters. I remember that like it was yesterday. Always has been my favorite part of camp.
Yeah,
I miss it a lot actually.
Cabin cleanup.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So you said you didn't like camp at first. Mm-hmm. What made you start to like camp?
So what I think made me start to like camp is I came back. I came back for 7th grade, and I was a buckskin with. I think that year was Ethan Graham.
Yes.
Bucks shout out right there.
Love Ethan Graham. Yes.
Yeah. Ethan's Chicken. I remember that.
Okay. Yeah, he became a big Bucks guy because you're a Bucks guy. Just to explain that to everybody.
Yeah, so it's a Christian fraternity up at the University of Arkansas. Well, it's around, but I go to the University of Arkansas, and I am in Beta Upsilon Chi there. And that stands for Brothers Under Christ, you see. And Bucks has been a really, really cool part of my life. My little, actually, his name is Luke Larson. He's a JC here right now. Some other guys that have been in Bucks before at Arkansas, like Ben Brown, Andrew Spigner, Stuart Berryhill, lots of big names, and Jackson Delmer. He's in Bucks was in Bucks at SMU. So we've got a lot of chapters all around the place, and it's a great way for us college guys during the year to have a good Christian fraternity. You know, just that Christian brotherhood. We get together once a week, and up at Arkansas, we do some worship. We do some goofing around. You know, we have a great time, and then we meet once a week with our little small groups within Bucks, and we just have time with one another, and we speak truth and life into one another, and just like the Devo they give at guys' night every week. You know, you got to have your bros, and that's what we do in Bucks. You know.
Well, I was going to ask you, is that something that you really loved about camp, right? Is it just kind of the examples of men, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Of Christian men,
mm-hmm.
you know, guys that had character like Ethan Graham.
Exactly.
You know, which when you got in Bucks to have, how cool was it to have all of those guys
have his picture up there?
Yeah, to have, well, I mean, people you looked up to. I mean, that had to have maybe had an influence on you.
Oh, yeah.
But is that something you were drawn to at camp?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
the guys,
the mentors.
Camp, yes, exactly, the mentors. I mean, there's just so many big names, or maybe they're just big names to me, but they're big names, you know, of guys that have just really pulled me in the right direction, even if they have no clue who I am, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I knew who they were, and that's all that mattered, you know? I looked up to them, and they were a shining example of what a Christian man looks like in my life, you know, like Keller Cox, Ben Brown, fun fact, I actually graduated under Ben Brown.
No way.
Yeah, Ben Brown was my graduate counselor. It was his first year in the Hackneys, I think.
I want to say my son Eli might have been in your cabin.
He was actually. It was. I
think there's a picture.
I remember
of you.
he had. Hetty baked a whole bunch of snacks and brought them in, and he had a whole cooler. And then we all got cookies or something like that. It was awesome. I remember it, actually.
You hit the jackpot that week.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's awesome.
Great week. But just so many guys, that have just really pushed me in the right direction. Those are just some of the big names, And there's all sorts of guys that, even when I was a JC, like Tucker, David Esterer, Andrew Spigner, those are guys that have been senior counselors while I'm a JC, and even them, they were always pushing me in the right direction, encouraging me to be more, to apply for all summer, to just come back and pour into these kids just like I've been poured into, and I mean that's a big one right there, But so many great men, so many godly men, just really leading me, and that was one of the things that makes Brook Hill so special.
Yeah. Man, I love that. I think there's something, if you go back to like the Eldridge book, Wild at Heart, I think every boy on the journey to manhood, right? We want to be a man, but we need people to show us the way.
That's right.
And, you're naming those names, even as Pirtle's over there doing the camera switcher over there, his dad, even if I wasn't very close with his dad, he was still a guy I could look up to.
That's right.
That showed me the way, and I think when you don't have someone to show you the way, you're left to blindly figure it out on your own, or you might even look to the wrong people that are going to lead you the wrong way.
That's a big one right there.
That's right. And a lot of these people that you're, or at least like a lot of the ones that I can name, they're great dads today. They're great husbands today. They're great citizens today. They're great godly men.
Yeah.
We need more of that. Our world needs strong men that can be an example. And so that for you, that's something that Brook Hill was for you, that these guys were for you.
I mean, a lot of the time when I'm just at college doing my own thing, or even when I'm here at camp, I'm thinking to myself, like, what would they have done? Like, how can I walk in their shoes the best way to make sure that these campers that I've got feel loved and appreciated and led in the same way that I was, And that's really what I'm striving to do all the time. And some of these campers might not see that I've got people ahead of me, just like they've got people ahead of them that they're looking up to. But it's a chain,
Well, that's the discipleship. Is that not what Jesus kind of showed us, right?
Absolutely.
The discipleship model. One thing that I love about you, Aidan, and it's something that I've always loved about you, is you are Aidan Ross. Like, unique, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be somebody else. And I also think that that's something that genuine people who are themselves, I think that's something that's pretty native to Brook Hill. Like,
absolutely.
Because Gabe Metz, Everett, you name two of the most unique people I know. Gabe Metz is a unique guy.
He is,
and he's the same guy today doing his photography and video. I guess he does photography. And then you've got Everett. I think he's a school teacher. But those two guys are two of the most unique. But when I think of you, you're a very unique, random person.
Yeah, thank you.
So is that something that you felt comfortable at Brook Hill, that you could be yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I have never, ever felt more myself than I am at Brook Hill. Because Brook Hill has always just been so, inviting and so loving and so encouraging. Like people really love you for who you are here, And it's not like you have to put on a mask or put on a face or be somebody that you're not. And that's really going back to earlier when I said that at first I didn't like Brook Hill. When I figured that out, when I discovered that I could really be who I am here, and I didn't have to. Counseling could sound so much better, I didn't have to be the guy that can make everything better. I could just be the guy that's here to have fun, to goof around, to be myself. That's really when it clicked for me, and I started loving Brook Hill, and that's when the waterworks started. Every time we had to go home, and. There's just no place like this, where you can come and be yourself and make friends and have fun without phones or distractions or anything like that, and just connect with people one-on-one.
And without trying to fit in a specific mold, because I mean, let's be honest, with your personality, in some settings you might be seen as the weird kid, right? The odd kid, and I know you embrace that. I know that, but here you're not weird or odd. You're just you.
Yeah,
right.
Just me.
And everybody's just everybody. There's not a mold here that you had to fit. And I think that's. I mean, do you think that's why you had success here?
I absolutely think that's why. I mean, I don't have to kind of reshape myself. I mean, obviously, I'm always striving to be a better version of myself.
Right.
You know, trying to be better than myself than I was yesterday.
Right.
But
you play the guitar.
Yeah, I play the guitar.
You play the guitar in Council Ring.
Yeah.
Like everybody else would play the bass, but you play the bass on your guitar. Like I laugh when your dad said that's what you wanted for high school graduation. But that's so Aidan. Like I think we find ourselves saying that a lot. That's so Aidan, you know. But you play the guitar, and like you said, maybe you're more of a nerd, or you're more of this, or you're more of that. But really, what you are is you're more of yourself.
Exactly. And that's why people come here. I think everybody that's ever been here and had a good time, you know, that's because they've come here and they've felt that they can be themselves. They can play the guitar.
That's right.
They can play whatever instrument they want, march to the beat of their own drum, you know, and people will love them all the same.
That's it. And I think it's something that we try and be, you know, hey, if you like football, great.
Yeah.
If you like the guitar, great. If you're more of a musician, great. If you're more of a gymnast, great.
Yeah.
You know, just be, you know, if you're a funny guy, if you're more chill.
Yeah, come one, come all.
That's it. And I mean, you look at a guy like Dawson, who's head of hill right now. He's the most chill, quiet counselor. Right? But and then you're one of the most loud, outgoing counselor. Then you got your brother, who's just kind of this football type guy. You know, but it takes all kinds because none of us are the same.
Exactly, and we all can connect with our own people. We all have the same, our different things to talk about. You know, like maybe I don't know as much about basketball or soccer. Or maybe the last time I did anything athletic was in high school. But you know, but I can talk about all sorts of stuff. I can talk about music or some video games or swimming, if anybody's a swimmer.
Yeah.
Big swimmer right here. Was in high school. You can't hardly tell anymore. I've gained a little weight.
You're a fish out of water right now.
I am a fish out of water. Hey, swimming is the best sport, you see, because when you sweat, it just washes off you. You ever thirsty? You know?
I love that.
Hey, never any once a swimmer, always a swimmer. Muscle memory's still there. Maybe not the muscle, though. But, like, you can talk about all sorts of things with all sorts of people here. And no matter what you come to Brook Hill with, whether it is you're a swimmer, you're a football player, maybe you just don't really do anything. One of the guys in my cabin, his thing is roller skating. like is that not awesome?
Inline or like the old school?
Like the roller skates. Like he goes to the Skadium in Little Rock.
The Skadium.
Yeah, with the skating rink, and he'll just skate around all day. That's what he told me, and that's so cool.
I love that
you can come here and there's people like that. There's so many niche things and so many popular things, you know.
Yep.
And you'll always find somebody that can connect with you.
I love that.
And even if it's not that, see, I can't roller skate because every time I've ever roller skated, this is a fact, by the way. Every single time I've ever roller skated, I rolled an ankle or messed something up.
Yeah,
got some massive bruise. So I have horrible balance. I had to go to occupational therapy for 2 years because I couldn't stand up straight with my eyes closed.
That doesn't surprise me.
I still don't have very good balance, but it's better.
That's awesome. That's why you're better in the water.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to stand up straight. I can just go.
So let's talk about something that I talked to you that I wanted to discuss. Something that maybe you've dealt with growing up. You were diagnosed at what age?
I want to say it was 5. It was very. I was very young
with ADHD.
Yes.
So attention
deficit
hyper disorder.
That's right.
Okay. And so it just means you're all over the place.
I am all over the place. And oh my gosh, you should have seen me when I was a kid, apparently.
Really?
My mom, you can go on my mom's Facebook.
Okay.
And she's got all sorts of stories from when I was a kid. She used to post on Facebook all the time because I'm one of 5, you see. So plenty of stories happening in the Ross household, right? Like one time she said we were real young, me and Ethan. It was me and Ethan. And she just went to the bathroom for like 2 minutes, and she came back, and I'd rubbed baby powder, like ointment or whatever, all over Ethan's head and all over. You remember those like thick TVs, like the big box ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Apparently, I'd covered the screen in it or something. I was just standing there.
And you were proud.
Yeah, I was proud. And apparently, my mom likes to say that that Ethan was a little late to talking because all he had to do was sit there and watch me. Because I would just run circles around him, And
just to let everybody know, Ethan is your brother.
Yes, Ethan is my little brother.
He is the senior counselor of the Mustangs.
That's right, yeah.
And he is also currently, I don't even know when this airs if it will still be his status. He's dating my daughter.
He is.
So we know that guy a little bit.
Yes.
But we're not going to put him on the podcast.
No. Ethan's awesome, but yeah, I was.
So you were all
crazy.
Over the place.
Yeah, they started believing in medication pretty early.
So school was a challenge for you.
Yes. So for a long time I was medicated, and I actually did really good in school when I had the right. It took us a while to find the right medicine, but by middle school I had it kind of figured out. And I was on the right medicine. I had everything going. I was real smart. Took all the AP classes, but that's the medicine making me able to do it. And I know that because my senior year of high school, I felt, I don't know what it was, but I just felt called almost to stop taking my medicine. And now it adds a little bit to my story. I'm back on it now, thank God. Well, not during the summer. Do you take it
during camp?
I do not take it during the summer.
Because you don't need it to be wild and crazy.
I only need the medicine to focus during class.
Okay.
But I stopped taking it my senior year of high school, and my ADHD medicine was also an appetite suppressant as a side effect. So I actually gained a lot of weight with it, but I don't really mind that. I own that, right?
Sure.
But the big thing for me was it made school a lot harder. It was so much more difficult to focus, and I already struggle with memory, but like remembering what assignments I had due or whatever. I tried all sorts of things. I still struggle with it a little bit. I tried writing it down on a notepad on my computer or writing it down somewhere else or even writing it on my hand, like all the homework I had to do, and I would just always mess up something. And somewhere I would get a B where I should have gotten an A, or I'd get a D where I should have gotten a C, just because of the homework that I was missing. And it was a real struggle, especially going to college. So I wanted to, going into college, I started as a civil engineering major, I actually wanted to do wastewater engineering. All my friends called me the poop scientist. So I go in and I'm doing all these civil engineering classes. I start with Calculus 3. For everybody listening, don't do that. Bad idea.
Don't start with Calculus 3.
Because I'd taken Cal A, B, and B,
Who
C.
thought that was a good idea?
Do
we really have to warn people? Do we really have to warn people not to start with Calculus 3?
Unmedicated Aidan thought it was a grand idea.
There we go.
Oh, go ahead and get it over with. Yeah. Don't got to do it anymore. Yeah, come on, let's do it. Bad idea.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
When you're on this medication,
mm-hmm.
So it helped you tap into your potential academically because you're really sharp academically.
Yes.
I mean, your ACT score was
35.
35 out of
36.
36.
That's right.
And that wasn't like super score.
No, that was on one test.
That was raw. How many times did you take the ACT?
I took the test 2 or 3 times. Okay. 2 that I can remember.
Okay.
But one of them was in 7th grade, so I don't know if that counts.
I wouldn't count that one.
Yeah. And I'll make some people angry here.
Yeah.
I did not study for that 35. Not even a bit.
That's just God-given gift.
No, it is. And also like the medicine, just like, 'cause I have the ability to recall useless information. So the way I've heard it described before with other people with ADHD is that things that stay the same, like weird facts, are easy to remember, but things that maybe change week in, week out, sometimes that's names, sometimes that's
assignments.
That's assignments, exactly. Things that are changing with time, those things are really difficult to recall and remember. So maybe I do remember the name of the variety of bananas that got wiped out, and now but the bananas taste different, and they used to taste like Laffy Taffy or whatever. That's really random. Big Mike variety, but they all dead now. That's a crop science thing right there.
Okay.
But I don't remember what homework I've got due on Friday. Like just random things like that. And that's something that I still struggle with now. But the medicine that I take for ADHD helps me to focus during class and take good notes and just like really dial in. Because when I don't have it, it's like I'm just glazing over, like thinking, what am I going to eat later? What did I eat this morning? do I remember anything? Who am I? Oh.
So unless
stuff like
something really interests you, it's tougher for you to lock in.
That is precisely
so that's why the
thing.
boring, daily, trivial, dumb, useless, right?
Yeah.
Like when this is due, who cares? That's not interesting.
Exactly.
That's kind of the way your brain works. But and so I think it's probably easy to look at another boy who might be dealing with this and say maybe he's dumb or he's lazy.
It'd be so easy to do
or
that.
he's irresponsible.
And that's a total mislabel, you know? Because some guys, they especially guys with ADHD, ADD, they're trying. They really are, because I've been there. Like it's like you're really trying, and it's just you keep on getting those C's and those D's, and you can't study for the test because it's all in front of you, but it's kind of mixed around. You're thinking about other things. You just can't get yourself all in one spot, you know? So I've been there, you know? And other people might be looking at you like you're dumb or you don't know what's going on. And it's I feel it even more because I was the smart guy, you know? I was in all the AP classes, and then all of a sudden I'm getting horrible grades and I just can't pay attention. And it's like, what's happening?
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Am I messed up? Am I dumb?
Exactly. And it's so easy to think those things about yourself. But you've got to remember that sometimes, like, you can't judge a fish by its ability to fly. You know?
Good.
Like,
great example.
Like while I'm here at camp, I don't need to take it, and I'm super fun, and I can be with the kids, and I can preach Jesus over them, and I can talk, I can speak love into their lives, you know? But if you put down a math test in front of me, I don't know how good I would do, you know, and that's okay. You know, we're not all built to be civil engineers, which I'm not anymore, by the way. Crop science major. Noped out of that one real fast. Go crop science.
So you are now a crop science major.
I am, and I love it.
That's
I
awesome.
love crop science. It's so interesting. And this is another thing, actually, that one of the things that helped me with my ADHD was because civil engineering, right, is I realized it was going to be sitting at a desk doing AutoCAD, like designing things for a big chunk of my life.
Just sitting there.
And for somebody with ADHD,
no.
like after I'd experienced without my medicine, you know, I'm like, okay, I can never ever let that be me. That can't be me.
Sure.
I'll never be that guy, you know. But with crop science, the balance. So what I want to be actually is a plant breeder. So I want to create new varieties of plants, of crops for farmers to grow. And the breakdown for that is about a third each way, a third in the field, a third in the lab, and a third at the desk. And that third at the desk is doing statistics, which I love statistics.
Okay.
So it's broken up really good for me. I get to be outside. I get to be interacting with things. In the lab, I get to be doing like the same thing over and over again. And it can be I work during the year. I work at a soybean breeding farm, right?
Like right now, during the year, you do that.
Yes,
That's
University
incredible.
of Arkansas. That's
right.
incredible. So if you've ever eaten edamame before, I know the guy that might have developed that variety. Dr. Wu, let's go. And I know a lot of the people. I'm thinking eventually I'll probably work for the fruit breeding program up at the University of Arkansas, maybe for an internship is what I'm hoping. So that stuff is just so interesting to me, and with my ADHD, it lets me just really get into stuff that I'm interested in, and again, this is because I'm super interested in this stuff. And like you said, the interesting things is easy to lock in on, right? But the boring stuff, like for me, it's economics. I have never been a finance guy. Money, I see numbers and I go, you know, like. I don't like the numbers. I don't like the finance.
I'm the complete opposite. Like I'm a nerd when it comes to finance. I love me a spreadsheet with finances on it. Like I eat that up. Like I love listening to Thomas Sowell or Milton Friedman or Bob McEwen or any of those guys studying economics. It's a blast to me.
And I wish I was that guy. You know, I wish I could be good at economics.
That's you. But that's you. That's me.
I look at economics and I get angry. Like, I just wish that profession didn't exist,
right.
But I'm glad it does because that means other people can do it like you.
There we go.
And then I don't have to touch it.
But you know, what's interesting is I think that's where school, the one-size-fits-all model, you know, for somebody like you just said a third at the desk, a third in the lab, and a third outdoors, actually like hands-on.
Yeah.
School should be that model.
I 100%
honestly.
agree. I 100% agree.
Because it should be a third in the classroom. It should be a third in the lab, right? Testing things, and then a third out in the field.
Yeah, and I've actually,
at least in the older, some older grades.
And so when I was in elementary school, actually, going back, Texarkana, Texas, right? I go to Morris Elementary for 4th and 5th grade. And something that I've always loved about Morris, and I know we've got some people that have gone there, some campers that have
we have
been
a lot
there.
of Morris people.
In fact, I think Claudia Kemp,
Legacy.
Teaches there.
Yep.
She teaches there right now.
Which I'm having her on the podcast very soon.
No way. That's awesome. But Claudia teaches there right now at Morris Elementary. And so when I went there, they had, I don't know if they still have this, I assume they do, but they had an engineering class. So we had our math, science, reading, everything like that. And then we also had a separate class in there today for engineering. And I remember as a kid, it was so cool. We built like solar ovens, and we built like these big marble, like, I don't even know what you call, like a Rube Goldberg machine kind of thing. We would build like egg drop things, like stuff like that. It was just so cool. And then we would actually like use and actually do that. And then on top of all of that, we also had Lego robotics, right? And Aidan, 4th grade, 5th grade Aidan, big nerd. He loves his Legos.
Loves some Legos.
4th and 5th grade Aidan's back hurt constantly because of how much he was arched over his bucket of Legos on his floor, little Aidan loved Legos. I still love Legos. I get Lego sets for Christmas.
I have one right now. I'm in the middle of a project.
It's fun. I loved it. Like back on Christmas, actually, I used to get these big Lego sets, like big ones. Like I don't know how expensive they were. Probably cheaper back then, but and my parents say it like this. I would get the Lego set and I would disappear for like 30 minutes, and I'd come back and I'd have the Death Star built or something like that. But I loved Legos, and that's the ADHD, like the hyper focusing thing. I loved Legos, and I could focus on those for hours. Later in high school, that hyper focus for me became piano, which turned into the guitar. So that's how I got good at all those things.
Let me ask you this: do you think that you picked civil engineering originally because of that experience at Morris?
Oh, 100%. The whole time I was there, engineering, I knew engineering was interesting.
That's that third hands-on.
And fun fact, as a plant breeder, another term that you could use for plant breeding, if you're doing the molecular side of things, is genetic engineering.
Okay. So still the engineering side.
Right back there, yeah.
Right. But, so this school provided for you a way for you to try it on.
Yes.
So that's that third classroom, third in the lab, and a third hands-on. We've got to figure that out.
Exactly.
That is something that, Claudia's a teacher. I'm going to bring this up. We're gonna have Claudia handle that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good.
We'll have her fix the education side of it.
Get Maggie in on this too.
We'll get we'll get the whole think tank in on this because when you're talking about kids, there could be boys listening to this right now because we're putting the title ADD on there. They could feel stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
They could think, I'm dumb. I have no purpose for my future because simply I'm not good at this one way of learning and sitting down and focusing real well. And for you, you really are brilliant. You really are gifted. But had your parents not helped you navigate that, you might have never discovered it.
No, exactly. If I hadn't gone to Morris where those things were presented to me like that, I would have never encountered that. I would have been a Lego guy, and that's pretty much it, But whenever people might look at you, guys with ADHD, ADD, and they might think you're dumb or something, like don't ever let that become a label on you, Know that you're you, right? And again, don't judge a fish by its ability to fly, If you're a fish and everybody's trying to have you fly around them, it's just not going to happen. Sometimes maybe you do need that medicine. The medicine is what made me able to fly for that, But that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to fly in the first place. It just means that I can now. Like, I can focus better with my medicine, but like that shouldn't be how I define myself, is my ability to focus, right? How I define myself is in Jesus, right? Is in the Lord.
It's good.
And like, That's what's most important right there is an identity in Christ, And then beyond that, just getting into the things that you are into, right? The things that I hyper focused on that I'm good at now, or at least I'd consider myself good at now, is Legos. I'm good at those, I guess.
Sure.
And music. I love music theory. I love piano. I love the guitar. I'm getting into the guitar. Actually, I started getting into it because of leading Devos here. The guitar. And I love music, and those things are things that I would call like hyper focusing things for me. It's not things that I'm very interested in that I love. Another thing that's becoming more and more is I've got this app on my phone. I think it's called Seek with iNaturalist, and it lets me take pictures of plants, and it will identify them for me. And I think that's so cool. I love to go on walks up in Fayetteville, Northwest Arkansas. Super pretty up there, and I love to go on walks and just, oh, what's this? Click. Oh, it's a purple passion fruit. Oh, what's this? Click. Oh, it's a Mustang grapevine. I think that stuff is so cool, and I just love all of that stuff, and that's becoming one of the things I'm interested in more now, especially with crop science. And I could not encourage these guys with ADD and ADHD more than to find the things that you're interested in. For a long time, that was video games for me. Star Wars Battlefront. I used to get up early before school so I could play for like an hour before we had to leave. I'm not even kidding. I used to get up, I think school started at 8. I used to get up at 6.
Wow.
And then it was bad. It was fun.
Yeah.
But I used to get up at 6, and then I would I would get ready, and then I would just play Xbox.
Until you had to get in the
Until
Suburban.
I had to go. Yep. Until I had to get into we actually had a big van, right? It was a big green, like Ford, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like a church, like a church van.
Yeah.
We had one of those.
Okay.
For all 5 of the Ross children.
The Ross Church is coming to going to school. I love it.
We had a big van and we had a minivan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Van family.
We were a van family. No longer.
Okay. I love that. Man, we've been so impressed with you this summer, Aidan.
Thank
your
you.
third summer, everybody's bragging on you. We watched you at the Fountain Lake Day, and I mean, you had the parents cracking up as well as the students there that day. I think there's just something about, being at a place a little while. This is your third full summer.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's starting to click for you this summer.
100%.
Not that you were bad before. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But the proficiency. I mean, do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. Like I've never. We talked about it like this. Me and Jed actually at the beginning of the summer, we said it was like at the end of camp last year, somebody hit the fast forward button, and now we're here again. It's like everything just cut right to it, and I'm right back into it. Everything is just, it's like that. All the things that we went through last year, I'm remembering almost all of them, and every once in a while, maybe I forget a little thing here and there, but like, I just got it down, I feel confident in my abilities. I know how to run a cabin. I know when to be down for dinner. I know when to wake them up, all that stuff. And it's just really falling into place. I feel it feels natural almost. I
love that. All right, camper versus counselor. What was your favorite thing as a camper, and what's your favorite thing as a counselor? And are they the same or are they different?
So parts of camp?
Yeah, like what's your as a camper? What was like? I love this apart camp.
Okay, so well first I'm gonna go fun wise.
Yeah, do it.
Fun wise part of camp that was my favorite as a camper. I actually loved the nature activity.
Okay.
I was a big nature guy. I actually have my highest award in nature.
Okay.
That's back when the highest award for nature, I had to write a paper. I had to write a paper during rest time. I did. I had to write a paper at camp.
That's awesome.
I think it was about spiders.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly what. Yeah, something like that. I remember we used to go on the walk, and they would have arrowheads.
Yes.
And we would get arrowheads. I thought that was so much fun as a camper. I loved that. I did it every year, actually.
Okay.
And before woodworking and engineering, I also did crafts.
Okay.
I always did the popsicle stick stuff, but I was in crafts.
You wanted to create.
I was a creative. That's right. As a counselor, fun wise, that's a tough one. It's all really up there.
Okay.
I've got to be real. This year, like, spy games is actually pretty up there for
you.
Me.
Okay.
Because
what do you love about it?
Figured out,
like with how your kids get to I mean, what do you love about it?
So we used to like rush through it and everybody just go,
Right.
and now we've kind of all figured out that it's about the kids, right? It's about the fun. It's about
the kids.
You know what I mean?
It's really good as a counselor to figure that out.
It is about the kids. We knew that the whole time.
Right.
Like there's no reason to rush. We're trying to have fun, you know?
Right.
And just being able to have the kids read the missions to each other and go through the scavenger hunt and earwax for E or I don't know, or just funny things like that. Like,
sure.
It's just so fun seeing all my kids get to bond and yell and have fun and shoot the Nerf guns and catch marshmallows in their mouths. And then when we all get in the big circle on the hills afterwards, that is so, and we all chanting the cabins as they come in. Like, it's actually, I'm starting to like it a lot. I really, really like spy games.
Well, you're just learning to live it through the kids.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the great counselors, when you said Gabe, when you said Everett, Sam, all of them, you know, it was less about their experience at Brook Hill. And I think that's the longer you're a counselor, and that's why I always say, you know, you got to do more than just a year or two all summer, because the longer that you do it, that about you wears off. And it gets to be about the kids. And that, you know, that was Hetty who created Brook Hill.
Yeah.
You know, and that Brook Hill has always been full-on kid-centered, where the greatest counselors are the ones who live it through the campers, and they don't care about, you know, their experience or what type of camper's in their cabin or whatever. It's just all about that camper having the time of their lives that week.
And it is. It really is about that. I mean, campers come here for fun, connection, and Jesus.
That's right.
Right? And Jesus, that's the big one right there. And that's I also wanted to talk about that, actually.
Yep.
Favorite Jesus moments as a camper, definitely on the hill. You know, Thursday night, crucifixion, so powerful every year. And listening to all the people around you worshiping on Friday night too. And as a counselor, there is I mean, pretty much the same. There's really nothing more powerful than a Thursday night at Brook Hill. It's so powerful watching what Jesus did for us, watching Jesus, the reenactment of the crucifixion, you know? And plus, as a counselor now, getting to be a part of that, getting to be a Roman guard. In the
so you're one of the guards. Do you hold a torch? Are you a torch guy?
Okay. I do hold a torch. I hold a torch, and then I also nail Jesus down.
Oh, okay.
So it's so
it's
real.
An eerie feeling, probably.
It is an eerie. It's weird getting angry, you know, like trying to personify what it really would have looked like for the campers, and there's really nothing like it. It's the greatest thing I'll ever be a part of. There's nothing in my life that could be more important than what I'm doing right now with these kids, showing them what Jesus did for them, building up this next generation of counselors to build up the next generation, to build up the next, you know. And that's not just to build up generations of counselors, that's to build up generations of kids, of people, of men, of women, you know.
Good.
To lead them into where, I mean, think about all the different kinds of people that have been through Brook Hill. All the different, I mean, I don't know, public figures, you know, politicians. Teachers.
Yep.
Carpenters. I don't know, like all sorts of things. Engineers.
I see what you did there with carpenters. Jesus. But, you know, it doesn't surprise me that Thursday night was a big deal for you, because you said you like the hands-on side of things. And for the story, you know, for the historically accurate, you know, trying to be as much as we can be here, but to talk about the story and the life of Jesus, for you to talk about it is probably less impactful than it is to see it.
That's right. It's I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Right.
I mean, everybody's heard that before, and there's nothing truer, you know, especially when it's just right there in front of you. Like, I mean, come on. I remember as a camper sitting on that hill watching, I mean, my counselors that I've had all week getting crucified. And at first it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then like it sets in, it's like, that's Jesus. Those are Roman guards. That's Simon. Those are mourners. You know, this is what happened. And the real thing was so much more real. Like, like obviously, but like just to tone it down as much as we can for camp. But like the idea that Jesus died on the cross for me and watching that happen in front of my eyes, and then now getting to be a part of that for kids is just so powerful. You know, and then coming back in the cabin and talking about what we just saw, just walking my guys through everything. Nothing better. There's nothing better.
Come on.
Seeing all the guys that get saved every week, all the guys that repent and turn back to Christ. Nothing better. There's nothing better than leading another young man up into a life of Christ.
So good. Man, I love that, Aidan. I love that. Well, so proud of the legacy that you're building, and who you are, 20 years old, and such an example to these guys. What would you say, as we start to kind of bring this to a close? What would you say, leadership-wise? What have you learned from being a counselor? What have you learned, maybe leading kids, or just being a leader in general? Maybe that you even brought to Bucks, or that you've brought to your job, or what that you want to bring into the future. Because we talk a lot about leadership here.
Yeah.
What is something you feel like you've learned through staff training, staff meetings, or just in having to lead kids? Because I'm sure there's one week where that was really good, and then you're like, okay, that was bad, and this next week I've got to make that better. And what did you learn? Maybe through a staff meeting or just through experience.
Well, I want to start off by saying, no matter what I say, I've improved in my leadership or anything at Brook Hill. It'll never be enough. Brook Hill, the things that I've learned being on staff here, even just being at JC here, have been absolutely insurmountable to my life. Like they I don't know if that's the right word, but they've been incredibly helpful in every aspect of my life. Knowing how to lead my girlfriend in the faith,
Sure.
Knowing how to lead my guys and Bucks and in our little group, knowing how to lead my campers and in a life of Christ, how to show them what it's like to be a man. Knowing how to lead my roommate Nate Kendrick. But
That's
for real,
a big task.
There's Nate Kendrick is the Walker senior counselor, for those who are unaware.
It's tough to lead a Walker, I can tell you. I've tried.
But no words will ever be enough to aptly describe how much I've learned, how much I've gained from being at Brook Hill. But a couple things that I have absolutely grown in over the years here is seeing the need is one of them. Being able to see the need, and what that means for the unaware, you see, is when you see something about to go wrong, you see something that needs to happen, like, oh, that trash needs to be taken out, or oh, there's a camper over there holding a rock that they're about to throw that rock.
Right.
Being able to go, oh, well, hey, stop. Nope, don't do that. Or when I'm at the soybean farm, I see part of the field that we forgot to hoe. Right?
Sure.
Oh, we got to go get that, or else our harvest is going to be bad.
Right.
Our work is all going to be for nothing, Like, just stuff like that. Being able to see the need and to pull people into where we're supposed to be going, to herd people the right way, to say something. That's a big thing that I've learned how to do at Brook Hill. And just to be able to cater to all sorts of people is another thing. You can't always just say the same thing the same way every time.
That's right.
Like, for example, week 1 this year, I had a cabin of almost entirely older guys. So obviously, my Monday night setup talk, and that's what we do for campers. We let them know what's going on, get them on our page, so we can have a fun week. Because if we can get them all on our page doing what we're doing, then that way we can have a fun week for the rest of the week, and we don't have to do it again. So my Monday night setup talk for an older crew is going to be more chill. Is going to be have a joke every now and again, But weeks like this week, it's a much younger camp. I've got like 7 second graders or something like that. It's like ridiculous. And
not really, but it's a younger
not
cabin.
ridiculous, not actually, but
it's a younger cabin.
Yeah. But got a small cabin, a young cabin, So, and I'm when I'm talking to them, I'm looking them in the eyes, making sure, are you with me? Got a lot of ADHD campers this week too.
A lot of Aidans.
Yeah, a lot of little me's. I know exactly what's going through their heads, So, just it changes kind of. Like, you have to cater what you're speaking to the people that you're speaking to, And if you can, it's nice to know Enneagram types, right?
Sure.
Like I am a 9-wing 8. I am a peacemaker. Believe it or not.
It's Jason Ross. You're literally Jason Ross.
I am. And
that's a Ross thing.
And Tucker Robertson.
Oh, he's a 9-8.
All three of us are 9-wing 8s. We're peacemakers.
Yes.
Even though apparently most people think I'm a 7 for some reason.
Okay.
Because I'm super fun or something. I don't know if I made that up or not.
Right. You are fun.
But Brook Hill has just taught me so many things. Between the staff meetings, between JCT meetings when I was a camper, you know.
I mean, you just think about if you start doing the math, how many, and I'm sure you could or maybe have, of how many campers you've already had through your bunkhouse. And there's some that you may never know. I know we've told the Tyler Kemp story.
Yeah.
You know, Tyler was a JC for 1 week and then never came back. And I never really even knew where he went to until he came back, and now this guy was your youth pastor.
He was.
And so, but he talks about the impact of Brook Hill and being saved on that hill, and you never know, bro.
Yeah.
Who you have been ministering to and the impact you've had. But I just want to say thank you for your faithfulness and all that you've done.
And thank you for having me. It's been the greatest 3 summers of my life.
Come on. I love that. Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Aidan Ross, Life, Legacy, and Leadership.
All right.
Great job.
Thank you.
How long? Do you have a time on there?